I got my buddy here, Dallin. We literally were talking for like 2 minutes and didn't realize we weren't even live.
We were just getting so deep into the Disney lore, you guys have no idea. I'm glad you're all here though, so you can be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna give everybody a little notification, just send out to everybody for giving them a chance to kind of go live, and we'll let them join in here. But Dallin, we got so much to talk to you about. I know that people were wondering like what shirt you were gonna be rocking today because you always so good. It's
I
so
got a
good.
Dr. Facilier shirt on today, a little Princess and the Frog action going on, some voodoo happening. That's the shirt for today.
Cause you got friends on the other side, don't
I
you?
got tons of friends on the other side. I'm looking at one right now.
So, oh, there we go. I love it. Let's see. Are we? I want to make sure we're live. It looks like it says we're live, but I'm looking here, and oh, looks like it's coming up right now. Give everybody a chance
Yep.
to jump in. So, anyways, before we get started, we want to hear. I want to introduce everybody. This is my good friend Dallin, and we I didn't know Dallin before I started like YouTubing, and I reached out to him at a whim because I'm a big fan of your channel, Offhand Disney. I'm a big fan of it, and I reached out to Dallin. I'm like, hey, would you ever want to do like a collaboration? And he's like, anytime, and it was
Yeah.
so kind. And so ever since then, we've been kind of buddies. And so I called him today, and I'm like, hey, did you get a chance to watch the stock meeting? And he's like, yeah. I said, you want to go live and just kind of talk about it and get your point of views? And he's like, let's do this.
Right?
So
Yeah, seriously. I'm so excited. I love talking with you, Chris. One of my best memories with you, Chris. I don't know. This is a little bit of a throwback. 2022, we were at D23 Expo together, and
yeah,
Chris was actually staying at a hotel near me. So
yeah,
almost every morning, the first morning I'd like sneak up to him on the sidewalk and I'd be like, "Chris, I love your videos." And he'd turn around and say, "Oh, it's Offhand Disney. It was a great time." And I hope to do that again at D23 this year.
absolutely, of course, it's going to be a good time. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about D23 for a second, because you've made some bunch of videos talking about how you feel like there's going to be some massively big announcements or hopefully good announcements at
Right.
D23, and we can talk about that. Again, guys, we're welcome to this live stream. I've never done a dual live stream before, and so Dan, I'm happy to do this with you. But
Happy to help you.
we'll figure it out. So, the one thing I saw a lot of people are saying during the stockholder meeting today, is that they're like, oh, they didn't make any big announcements. There's no huge announcements
Right.
for what's going to be happening in parks. For me, that wasn't surprising. I felt like that Disney couldn't really. They have to save those announcements for D23 because they want to
I
have value for D23.
I think so. I think today's meeting, the difference between a stockholder call and a D23 parks panel is the stockholder call is very much it's for the stockholders. So what they did announce for the parks today, I'm sure we'll get into it later on, is for the business people, the companies and the stockholders watching this call to be invested in the future of, in this case, Disneyland. Um, but D23 is very much for the media and for the fans. So they're gonna give the media like the news sites and the fans, the
Yeah,
vloggers, the people like us, the YouTubers, the news that they want to hear. This was the business side. We're gonna get to the fan side in August. If
yeah,
you kind of
at
get what I'm saying.
D23. Yeah, perfect. Oh, we got like a little. I didn't realize you could even do that. There's a super chat there. Hey, this is from Clucky Chicken Cartoons. Hey, two of my favorite Disney park tubers. Can't wait to hear both of your thoughts on the craziness. Got to get you both in Featherton's son soon. Oh yeah, dude. I want to be animated. You gotta animate me.
I've been seeing Chucky's posts all over the place. That's you got to put me in the queue. Put me in the virtual queue to be animated. I loved it. Seriously, your artwork is amazing.
All right, so let's talk about the stockholder meeting and like those allude to the craziness that's happening here, because there was a lot of things that happened on the stock. There were some things that actually I thought was really shocking, and we'll get into that in a moment. But so here's what I thought was interesting. Right at the bat, they had the vote. Like, is Nelson Perez, is he going to get his seats on the board? He didn't.
No.
The votes went to Disney. Disney is not doesn't sound like they're changing their board members at all. But what was super? I'm going to look here at the stock ticker. What was so shocking to me is that at that exact moment, because Disney was hovering about 122 on their stock price,
Right.
the second they announced that Nelson didn't make it, the stock dropped, and it was
Right.
like like a significant drop for them. And it's down right now. The stock is at 118, and it was at 122, so it dropped about 3.5%, which is also for me, for those of you who might not be familiar about the stock market, I'm going to talk about that real quickly, is they have this thing, it's called like the S&P. Also, sometimes you might hear what's called the blue chips. It's the bigger stocks. And during a day, the S&P will it ebbs and flows together. shocking to me. That I kind of think that means that Wall Street was kind of maybe leaning. Maybe they wanted Nelson Perez to be in, to go in because that was I didn't expect that because if they I think that there's such large shareholders they didn't bought they voted that we wanted to that the other people can't change the outcome. I think that
Right.
Wall Street was kind of shocked by that. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
No, yeah, I think I mean, I'm not too big into the stock market. I don't know if stocks necessarily represent the state of the company at the time, but I think with Peltz, I'm not a businessman myself, but what I've heard is that he kind of wanted to reduce spending in a lot of areas and cut back on things so that way you make the company more profitable, right? So then that's better. I mean, obviously the company's making more money, that's a good thing. But I mean, it costs money to do great things. Walt knew that. He painted the it's a small world with gold leaf while Roy was out of town, so Roy couldn't tell him no, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. So
so
I
true.
think, yeah, I think definitely the stockholders and the fans, I think for sure, were definitely more towards sticking with Iger. And even a lot of the creatives you saw over the past couple of weeks, people like George Lucas and
George
Michael
Lucas.
Eisner and
Yes.
all the past, executives and creatives from Disney, even Joe Rohde, I think, would come out in support of Iger. So it was very much like a business versus creative, which people wanted who in charge kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I wasn't necessarily too surprised. I mean, if Nelson would have won, I would have been a little more shocked by that. But at the same time, I kind of Disney's they're putting out a lot of effort. They had like PSAs going out. They were publicly saying that they had support of all their so they were pushing for it
Right.
pretty hard. So it wasn't too surprising to me. But there was one thing, excuse me, that was surprising to me, and I've never really seen this before. And I've been in a lot of stockholder meetings. Is at the end of a stockholder meeting, they allow you to ask the share if you own a
Yeah.
share, even if you only own one share, you have the opportunity to be able to ask a question. And usually in the past, people get up, they ask their questions, you state your name, you state your question, and go on. All of a sudden, Disney says we're doing this new way, and it was almost like it was AI generated questions.
Right.
Yeah, did you hear that? And like
I
the
did, yeah.
voices,
Because
yeah, they
I
just
watched the last stockholder kind of call, and they had the actual people on the phones calling in,
yeah,
kind of thing.
yes,
And last year they got a lot of the same questions a bunch of times. This year it was a bunch of different questions. So I don't know if they were randomly selected or if they were pre-screened in any way. I don't know what the rules around that are. You might know
yeah,
that or maybe not.
yeah,
But um, yeah, instead of having people actually calling with their phones, it feels like they like would type something in, or there was like some sort of way they could
yeah.
send in a question rather than call in and ask a question, if
Yes,
that makes
they
sense.
did. They pre-screened the questions. They said that. So
Okay, okay.
they did say, yeah, they did say they pre-screened it. And then when the questions are read, it was done in like a kind of like the AI voice of reading
Right,
it, but they didn't say their name. They didn't say where they're from. And then in my mind, this is like a celebration for stockholders. This is when you've got to pump their stock, right?
right,
I think that those questions, I think obviously Bob Iger had those questions beforehand. They had prepared responses for those questions because they knew what they're going to be because they're the ones that chose the questions. But I thought that was interesting, Don. I want your take on this. One question, I kind of felt like I don't know, I'm not going to say bungled it, but I was surprised because the one question was, they're like, hey, with the Epic Universe opening in
yeah,
2025, what has Disney done to do to kind of combat that? And his answer was, well, we've been doing it in stages. We did Tron, we did Moana, we've done Pandora and Guardians of the Galaxy
right.
Mission Breakout. And he called it a staggered opening of all these amazing events in order to combat Universal Studios Epic. I feel like a lot of people are like, nah, it's not really the answer that they're looking for. But I was curious what you thought about that.
Yeah, because they said they've known about this for about a decade now, so that would make it about 2013, 2014 when they figured out that Epic Universe was being built. So that's given them about 10 years to answer for that entirely new park. And would you say if they gathered together all of the things they built over the last year and put that into its own park, say you got a Tron ride, Galaxy's Edge, would that stand up to Epic Universe? I don't know. I don't think it would. You can see that their strategy right now is to improve their existing parks rather than build a new park, which I think is a decent strategy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was definitely a question that he bungled. He just sort of said like, "We've known about this for a while. Don't worry about it," kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Actually, I think that's really interesting what you said. I didn't think of that. I think if you took everything that they built, you and put it into one land, would it compete with Epic Universe? We don't really know because I haven't been to Epic Universe, but what they're showing, I don't think so. I don't think it
Right.
would compete with Epic Universe at this point.
Because yeah, you get Tron in addition to Space Mountain and Tomorrowland. That's great. You get Guardians and Epcot. That's awesome. But if you were to get these all together and put them in one park, there wouldn't be too much going for it. So have they built the equivalent of an Epic Universe? I don't know.
Yeah,
Over the
I
past 10 years.
yeah, I don't think they have. I think that that's well, that's a really good thought. I haven't really thought about. I like that thought process. So I think that was one interesting question that I think that was kind of bungled maybe a little bit. I
Hmm.
think what they're trying to do is say, hey, we've done all this. The other thing that was I thought was a little weird to me is I thought that they would hype up D23 more and say, but don't worry, we've got these amazing
Yeah,
announcements coming out, and there wasn't really any hype for D23 on the phone call either.
right. I feel like they did something similar to that last year. Maybe it wasn't at no, it was for I think Comic-Con for Marvel. They were like, we're gonna show you a couple things here. Stay tuned for D23 later on this year. We're gonna have even more stuff showing up. So that was really interesting. They didn't mention it once, but I mean, I get why maybe they didn't want to, just because they wanted to keep it on the shareholder side of things, but you never know. They're probably making a whole lot of money off of D23. I feel like the shareholders would like to know that, with the
Yeah.
tickets and
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Yeah. I sure that they. Yeah. D23 has become a money machine for Disney. That's for sure. And
It's a
it's
good
interesting.
time though. It's so fun.
Yeah. Now, if you guys, here's what I try to do. We got has a bunch of moderators here, and if you guys want to ask down a question, go ahead and ask or put a question down there. And our moderators, if you can find those questions, maybe recopy them because we can see the blue wrenches a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll be able to answer those questions too. Down will be able to answer those. Down can answer almost anything you ever want to know about
Anything you want to know, I'm your man.
anything. But I was going to specifically say haunted mansion, but yeah, anything,
Haunted Mansion or
anything.
the People Mover. That's my specialty.
That's it. That's the way that it goes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was. So for me, I was shocked by a couple things that happened. One, the stocks going down after the stockholder meeting. That was shocking to me, particularly because it's going the opposite directions
Mm.
of the market. That was weird to me. See that. The other thing that I thought was weird was that these AI generated questions. I felt like they were AI generated questions. They said that they were pre received them, but they just sounded weird to me. Like
Yeah,
maybe
the
just because we're
voice was
listening to it in AI
the
voice.
synthesized voice. Yeah, was reading them off.
Yeah, so that was it. So I see actually a question here though from Bailey. They're like, "What do you think about Autopia changing?" Because they did announce that possibly Autopia is going to be going electric. So
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Okay, so I actually have a video about that, I think coming out tomorrow, but you all get a sneak peek of what I think about it right here on this live stream. So
Oh, I
thank you
love
for
this! I
tuning
love this!
in.
I love this!
Thank you
Yeah.
for tuning in. I think that it wasn't really a news release by Disney. They were just asked if Autopia is going to be going electric, and they said they have the plans within the next couple years. And the Autopia is actually the only attraction in Tomorrowland, I believe. I'm 99.9% sure. I'm going through all the rides in my head that has a sponsor. It's the only
It
one.
is Honda.
Yeah, sponsored by Honda. So I feel like they're saying in the next couple of years, that means either if Honda chooses to renew their sponsorship or chooses to drop it or change the sponsorship, that way they can re electrify, or I guess just electrify Autopia and not have to foot the bill for that. Honda can foot the bill, or Chevron or Chevrolet
Yes.
or whoever wants to foot the bill, wants to sponsor the
Tesla.
ride.
Yeah.
Tesla, if he wants to do business with Disney, I don't know about that right now.
I
But
don't think he does. Yeah.
if they wanted to, um, yeah, that would be the next goal, would be to have someone else pay for it rather than Disney with the sponsorship program.
That's the thing. That's interesting you bring it up because it is sponsored by Honda, and I don't know when that sponsorship is going to expire, but they won't go electric until Honda either does it pay like I said pays the bill for that
Right.
or is no longer a sponsor because Honda doesn't really push a lot of electric cars right now. They're pushing everything about Autopia is about their car, like the colors you can
Right.
buy are the cars that they sell and all these things. But
Exactly. I feel like if Honda were to make a big advertising push for electric, then we could probably expect to see it. So until
yeah,
they do that, then we probably won't see the electric cars. But I can imagine it happening within the next like 2 to 4 years. Yeah. I Let me tell you, I tell this to everyone who asks me about it. I have never been to Universal once in my life, never been. And No, it's not because I have anything against Universal. I just haven't gotten the time. I'm always at Disney World or Disneyland. So me and my wife were making it a point when Epic Universe opens, it's going to be my first kind of, we're going to do maybe 2, 3 days and we're going to do all the parks at Universal because might as well just see it all at once. So I am very, very excited for you because nothing really has grabbed me at Universal save Super Nintendo World. And that's going to be at Epic Universe. And it's
Yeah,
in California already. So everything at Epic Universe seems amazing, like super immersive. The amount of thrill rides and family rides, flat rides, shows, restaurants, it all looks amazing. So we're definitely going to be going next year when it opens in the summer of 2025. I'm so excited. I think Chris might have
freezing.
frozen. Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
Chris is
Sorry, guys.
back.
I'm trying to get on a different Wi-Fi network, so people saying that I'm freezing. So hopefully it will unfreeze there.
I
You
can
know what's
improv until it fixes itself. It's fine.
But I have to say this. I have to say this. So this is interesting, John. About 2 years ago, I went to Florida with some of my friends. We did a boys trip, right?
Okay,
And
fun.
one of my friends who lives in Florida is a diehard Disney fan, like diehard. He loves
Mhm.
Disney. And we were going to do 2 days at Universal and 3 days at Disney. And he ended up saying, he's like, I'll just meet you at Disney. I'm not going to go to Universal. I'm not interested. And we're like, okay, whatever. And then I guess the FOMO, the fear of missing out, it like literally like 2 nights before, he's like, okay, I'm going to go. He ended up coming to Universal his first time, something kind of like what, and by the end of the trip, he bought an annual pass, and he loves
Wow.
it. He goes there all the time now. And he absolutely loves it. And the thing that he said to me that was the most interesting was because he's a hardcore Star Wars guy.
Right.
He had never read a Harry Potter book. He'd never really seen the movies. Just wasn't his thing, right?
Sure.
But he loved Harry Potter, the land. He goes, I get this. He goes, I want to participate. I want to wand. I want to do this. He goes, when I'm in Star Wars land, I love Star Wars land, but I don't get that same excitement of like I want to do everything there. Where
Right.
he got really spun up into it. So I'm curious to see what your experience will be like when you go there to
I'm s-
Universal.
I'm super excited for all of it. Yeah, but that is something I have noticed. The difference between Harry Potter and Star Wars is Harry Potter feels more organic. It feels
Yeah.
like a more an easy, sort of easier to get into, almost even a more of a living world than Galaxy's Edge is. Haven't been, can't speak on that, but when I do go, rest assured there will be 12 videos about it on my channel, so you'll all
I
know.
can't wait. We can't wait for tomorrow about your
I
car
can't
about
wait.
your video about Autopia.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
Andrew wanted to know, what did you see the Avatar concept art? Did you see that concept
Yeah,
art?
I hadn't mentioned it now because I didn't know if you were waiting, but I did see
Yeah.
the concept art. That's going to be in the video tomorrow too. Would you like to get into that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So tell me what you think about Avatar Pandora coming to Disneyland. I'm curious to see like what your thoughts are on it.
All right. I for a long time people were like, "Where's this Pandora gonna go? Is it
Yeah.
gonna go where Redwood Creek Challenge Trail is? Is it gonna go where in Disneyland somewhere? Is it gonna go in the backlot in Hollywood?" I think I saw a thread about this earlier today on the internet, and it was Mouse Gamer, great guy, um, great person. They uploaded like a map of Disneyland Forward, and you can see if you overlay the ride or the bridges of the ride and the streams going through. They highlighted that it matches up with the Disneyland Forward map. So I think Pandora right now is that carrot that Disney's sort of dangling in front of the city of Anaheim to say, if you approve Disneyland Forward, we can start this Pandora expansion right now, or within the next year or so, like next couple months, we can get started on this as soon as we want to. So I think Pandora is definitely going to be part of Disneyland Forward, maybe built on land that doesn't have a ride on it yet, but the concept art that I've seen, again, talk about this in tomorrow's video, you get a sneak peek. The kinetic energy of the land is insane because Pandora has a good amount of kinetic energy, not a ton, but it has a waterfall coming down from the floating islands, which is great. But this Disneyland version has waves crashing up against the back of the land. It has waterfalls. It has the boat ride moving through the land on the outside. It goes outside, so you have all the motion around you. And I think kinetic energy, I've talked about this in the past, is really important to make a land feel like classic Disney because you got Fantasyland, you got your monorail and your storybook lands and your carousels moving around. Tomorrowland, you got your monorails, your submarines, Matterhorn. If the ride goes outside or there's different moving things in the land, it helps it feel alive. And so I think that is what I am most excited for with this new Avatar land. It'll be a great place to just kind of sit and enjoy the special effects, to enjoy the land itself. That was a
I love
lot.
that take. No, I love it. So I love the optimism, and I want to partake of that. I sometimes worry like with Disney, they have floated. I feel like so many artwork, like
Hmm.
conceptual artworks, and then when it's really revealed, what we've seen isn't even close. Like we saw that with like
Right.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure. There's was it Mama Miyori, whatever. She was on top of it. Then they changed it
Yeah.
around. So I hope that it's going to be really positive series. Pandora is fantastic,
Yeah.
like fantastic in Animal Kingdom. That's the hook, line, and sinker of Animal Kingdom, right?
Right.
That's the linchpin there. So I'm excited to see that. I have not seen that overlay yet. So that's a
Right.
really interesting thought about that because people, that's one question I get asked a lot is people are like, where's it going? Where's it going? And I'm like,
I
we'll
don't
wait
think
and
it's
see.
going to replace anything. A lot of people, yeah, in the comments there, Grizzly River Run. I don't think it's going to replace. I think this is going to be brand new for Disneyland Forward from the ground up. Nothing is going to go away for Pandora at Disneyland, which is good. I like it when things don't have to go. Like if they announced that Space Mountain had to be taken out for Tron, that would have been awful. That would have been so sad to lose Space Mountain. So I like it when
Yeah.
Disney builds new things just out of nowhere.
So I think this would be a good thing that they would probably could announce at D23.
I
Uh,
think I think the only reason you're exactly right, Chris. This is why I like talking to you, man. You know what's up. I think the only reason that they didn't announce that it's going forward today, or that the more concrete art, is because that vote for the final approval of Disneyland Forward isn't for another couple weeks. So once
yeah.
they have that final approval, it'll be nose to the grindstone. People are, I think, they're gonna probably announce if it does get approved. It might not, but if it does, then we'll see something at D23.
Now I'm going to kind of just reel back a little bit so people who maybe are watching don't understand. Disney and Anaheim have an interesting relationship. I'm not going to say they're like their best friends, but they're it's an interesting relationship. And if you go back, it used to be that Disney and Anaheim were hand in hand, skipping down the road.
Yeah.
But there was a big hiccup. It was in 2018-19. They Disney announced that they're going to build this huge hotel. The new hotel is going to be in downtown Disney. It was where the Earl of Sandwich was.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah, there was going to be like
Yeah,
it
and
was going to
announced
connect to
all
the
this.
monorail stop. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. And Anaheim kind of pushed back on it, and
Hmm.
they removed some of their tax brackets around them, and they had some tax buffers built in, and there are other contracts. And Anaheim's like, nope, you're not getting that. And Disney literally walked. They're like, fine,
Right.
we're not doing it, and they didn't. And it was a shock to Anaheim, the city of Anaheim, I think, because they're like, holy cow, because they thought. I think they thought that they had Disney cornered finally, and they're
Right.
like they're gonna have to play, but Disney literally
So
walked away.
yeah.
So it's not 100% that this vote's going to be is going to go for Disney. But I'm confident that the city of Anaheim wants to have a good relationship with Disney, and so I feel more confident about it.
Right. I feel like, yeah, especially post COVID, they realized how much Disney brings the city, and so the part of like you were talking about that hotel, they announced the new Eastern Gateway project at Disneyland at that same time. Do you ever go in through the Eastern Gateway, or do you always come in through another way if you're at Disneyland?
I've all of them.
Okay, it's
So
mostly the Eastern Gateway for me. So
really,
I was actually kind of excited when they announced that, but there would be actually a bridge that would go over Harbor Boulevard, and a lot of those businesses that were along Harbor were pretty mad about that because no one would have any incentive to visit it anymore. And
yeah.
so I think those were, Disney has to go back to the drawing board with that and make some concessions. But yeah, they essentially just canned the whole thing because I think that was announced around the same time as that hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so and since then, Disney and Anaheim really haven't had any major announcements in collaboration together.
Right.
So it's Disney Forward is the first big one. I feel confident that it's. I mean, I can't say no for sure, but like you said, I think they're dangling carrots out there, and I think they want to have a good relationship. The city of Anaheim wants to have a good relationship with them,
Yeah.
and Disney kind of needs this too. I think a little bit more. There is a pressure that Disney hasn't had in a while because of Epic Universe
Yeah.
to keep
Especially,
it together.
yeah. Yeah, out in California where there is a lot of competition. Um, it's not quite that way in Orlando yet. Obviously, Universal and SeaWorld are like Disney World is still top dog by a lot, but Epic
Yeah.
Universe is going to definitely even those scales a lot. California, yeah, and in Anaheim, you have the local people, right? The locals are more so they can have the luxury of let's go to Knott's today, let's go to Universal today, let's go to Disneyland today. So the playing field is a little bit more even out there for sure.
Yeah, I think
Eh,
so. I think it's interesting also though in Florida. So Disney did something they haven't done in a long time. They announced like their pricing for their tickets all the way into 2025,
Right, I feel
and
yeah, that's unusual, isn't it?
that's super unusual. But I
Yeah.
think that Disney has done that because they're trying to combat with Epic Universe. I think they know that they're going to probably take a little bit of a dip there when that opens up. A lot of people are going to be going there checking it out. So I think Disney's doing everything they can to kind of buffer that storm when it first
I think you're
opens up.
completely right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. All right. What were some other things about the stockholder meeting that kind of stuck out to you, some other thoughts you got there?
Oh, I can't remember. I was thinking so much about it today while
It,
working on this
it,
video.
the Inside Out 2, they announced
Inside
that.
Out 2. I want to circle back because I'm definitely more of a parks guy, but we can talk about
Sure.
Moana 2 and Inside Out 2 for a
Yes.
second
Yes.
because
Yes.
those look great. Yeah, I mean, we got a first look at Moana 2. We got a little screenshot there. It's 3 years later.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. And
Yes.
we got like, was it like a second trailer or was it like a clip from Inside
It
Out
was a
2?
clip. I guess it was a clip of Inside Out 2, which I'm super excited for. The
Yeah.
Moana thing, that was just I don't know what was that.
Take
I mean, I don't know. Is it a screenshot? Is it a AI
yeah.
generated thing, or what is this?
Yeah, it was like a still from the movie, just a clip, like a picture of a scene. So
Yeah,
if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, then it's bad. You know, did you see like Wish? Did you see the Wish movie, Chris?
yeah. I saw Wish.
Okay,
Yes,
I never saw it. It's on Disney Plus today, so maybe I'll have to
just came
check it
out
out.
today,
But
dude. You can
yeah,
watch it. Yeah.
I got time.
So
Yeah. And then yeah, Inside Out 2. That's soon. I think it's in the next couple months here. It's coming out.
I have a theory about Disney Wish, by the way, off subject here, but
I think I know where you're going with this too.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I think the animation is almost too good because there's a thing called motion blur, right?
Hmm.
Like if you see my hand, it's like
Right.
blurry. Um, but in television animation, they don't have blur. Like and the lower, like when I animate like a Saturday morning cartoon or something, they're going as fast as I can, so they don't do like the motion blur to make it
Right.
look super realistic. It just is how those cheaper cartoons are done. Wish doesn't have blur, but I think it was done on purpose for the storytelling point of view. But I think a lot of people it was kind of like, oh, this
A little
feels
jarring.
not as yeah, as jarring. It doesn't feel like it's as polished. When I think it was they're trying to do a technique. So I think that was I know way off the subject there, but Wish is I
It's
mean
yeah.
is
I don't think the animation style quite hit what they were going for. It was supposed to look like almost like a tapestry or a book. And
yeah.
I mean, I just didn't get around to seeing it, so I'm definitely gonna try to watch it probably tomorrow. But did they do any other movie announcements, or was it just Inside Out and Moana? I think
Just
that was it.
Inside Out on Moana that I remember. I don't I see. I look at their chat if I see anything, but I don't think so. I think it was just Inside Out. Oh, they did talk about Deadpool coming out as well.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, we didn't get any
Yeah.
new content for any new trailers or anything for that yet. But
No. Yeah.
circling back though, because I do want to talk about it for a second, the ride going through the Pandora land. How much of this do you think is blue sky, and how much do you think is this is what they're leaning towards building? Because they've been getting in trouble for doing a lot of blue sky recently. I think
So
this is a
much.
lot more. I feel like this is a lot more set in stone than people may realize. This piece of art that we got today.
So that's it's an interesting thing here, the blue sky concept. I think blue sky is super fun to it's fun to talk about. So it's
Yeah.
very fun. Like, hey, have you ever thought about what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad?
Right.
Villains Land and Kanto. That's kind of fun. But then I think a lot of people are expecting them to say, so because you've been thinking that, guess what? There is a Villains Land. They wanted a
Yeah.
concrete answer. And we never got that. And I think that people are like, wait, does Disney not? I think what it did, I think Disney thought it would hype people up and get all excited for the future. I think it did the exact opposite. I think people are like, wait, are they using us as the audience as a soundboard? Are they like kind of throwing things out like, hey, do you like
Yeah.
this? And you do? Okay, then yeah, well then start working on it. And people are like, does Disney not have anything concrete to announce to us because they don't know what they should be doing?
That's the
So
main thing, yeah, with the D23. I almost keep saying every time I almost say last year. It was 2 years ago because they have it
years ago,
every
can you
other
believe
year.
that?
I know, I can't believe it. But, I think they caught it at a really bad time. I feel like if Disney was in a good place and everyone was happy with the parks, if they were like, "Here what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain? Could be this, could be this, could be this. We'll let you know next D23." People if everyone was happy with the parks, then maybe people have been like, "Okay, well, I guess we'll wait a couple of years to see what this evolves into." But the way that the parks and the company was at the time, and still sort of is, with Chapek in charge at the time and everyone sort of being down on it, I think it was, and with Epic Universe on the way. I mean, come on, come on, that
Yeah.
definitely they saw the blue sky as Disney sort of being desperate, and in a way, it kind of was.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also though, it kind of even going back. Let's go back even further to the last because remember when not the last one, but they announced the Mary Poppins attraction.
Yeah, at Epcot.
At, yeah, at Epcot, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's gonna be amazing!" And then nothing ever happened. And
No.
so I think Disney doesn't want to have that embarrassment of making a major announcement and then having to reel it back. So they're kind of going more to blue sky. But I think people really needed it. They feel like we want something from Disney. We want it was the way it was in the past is Disney was so confident. They're like, this is what we're gonna do, and you're gonna
Yeah.
love it. And
Right.
they did it and we loved it.
Yeah.
Now we feel like I think some people feel like we don't wait, are we liking this? We don't know what's going on. So
Right. Yeah. It's very uncertain. I think I saw a comment. Let me go back and see. Is Blue
yeah,
Sky Blue Sky replaced Anthony says Blue Sky replaced cast members with iPads at the entrances of the parks because instead of getting just a regular guest who may be visiting once or twice, maybe once every 5 years from Kansas, they got a room full of diehard Disney fans' opinions. Instead of why like you gotta survey everyone. You gotta survey anyone who visits once in their life to once a month to once a year to once every 10 years. You got to get an idea of what they all want. And so I think, yeah, like Anthony said, it was a weird way of taking a survey.
yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly right. It was a weird way of taking a survey. So I want to go real quickly, way off subject, but I want to get
Sure.
your point of view now that we got you here
Yeah.
live. Talon, are you ready?
It's me.
Avengers Campus, because one of the things you're talking about was you love the synergy of rides going through the land,
Yeah.
whatever. So tell me about what about Avengers Campus and what are your feelings there, the synergy there?
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I think I prefer web slingers to Toy Story Mania. I know a lot of people don't share that, but I love web slingers a lot. But
Okay, yeah,
the thing with Avengers Campus that they get right is the characters. There are characters everywhere all the time, running around, interacting with everybody. That's perfect. Everything else, the look of the land, there's nothing moving. The music is really loud. Everything else, I feel like, is not what we're looking for. It kind of falls flat. So the characters are the only thing I would say that they got right kinetically about the land.
right.
You could argue that the doors opening on Mission Breakout, formerly Tower of Terror, add
Yeah,
like, oh, there's people screaming up there, but you need something more, something
yeah,
else. Same
something a
with
little bit more.
Galaxy's
Okay,
Edge. Galaxy's
yeah,
Edge
that's
doesn't really
interesting.
have too much either. It doesn't
Yeah,
have any actually.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't. Galaxy Edge has there's nothing that you could see moving around
Right. There's a
other than
waterfall in line for Rise of the Resistance, and that's it.
yeah, that's it. That's really interesting point of view. But Star Wars has amazing. I think it has the best sound engineering of all the lands. The
I
sounds
I would agree, yeah,
so
because
good.
it feels alive. You can hear they have speakers set up at distances along like the rooftops of the building, so it sounds like a TIE fighter is taking off. It sounds like it's going into the distance because
Yeah,
they planned out the sound design so well. It's yeah, I would agree.
I I'm a little pained to hear that you think Web Slingers is better than Midway
I
Mania.
just I'm a Spider-Man fan through and through,
I love
and I
Spider Man, but Midway Mania, man, is so good.
no, it's good. It's good. No, don't get me wrong. I love Midway Mania. I just think Spider-Man is better than Midway Mania. I That's just so weird because growing up as a little tiny teeny little kid, Toy Story and Spider-Man were my two favorite things. So it's funny kind of seeing those two go head to head now. I
Head to
think it's kind
head,
of funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. By the end of the day, like whenever I get done with doing web slingers, like my arms are like jello. Like I'm like I
That's
get
see,
off
I'm
it.
the opposite. I'm the opposite. I could do web slingers all day, but I get off Toy Story Mania. I'm like, I need to
Are you
go like get some
serious?
salon paws
Oh,
or something.
really? It's interesting. Okay, well, I don't
Yeah.
know about that. So,
Jimmy Good, you're right.
uh,
I do have they do you guys have to do get me on Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man over there, Islands of Adventure at Universal. I've never been on that ride. I love Spider-Man too. I
all
know.
right. Now I'm gonna say something. So I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
But I did do a video. I took a bunch of Disneyland Paris cast members to Universal Studios for the first time. Okay, now they have Avengers Campus at Universal Studios, and they have web slingers there.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, they have
Oh,
web slingers
Spider.
at Disneyland Paris.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so they rode the Amazing Spider-Man at Universal, and the one cast member was like, "This one's better. I like this one better." And I was like, I don't know if we could say that, but but the reason that they liked it better is because the Universal one, you see the bad guys, and
Yeah.
Spider-Man's fighting against the bad guys. You see Doc Ock, you see them all, the Electro, and it's so fun to see them. Whereas the web slingers, it's just the spider bots.
Spider
So
bots, yeah. So they could sell more Spider Bot toys.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So
it makes me wonder what this new. We can talk about this. Something that I am almost 100% will be announced and broken ground on within the next year is the new e-ticket attraction at Avengers Campus with the Avengers e-ticket. What do you
Yes.
think
I
that's going to end up being? Do you think it's going to be like the Spider-Man ride at Universal or something completely new? What's because we've only
you know,
seen one picture of like the ride vehicle, and that's all we
okay,
know.
hold on. I actually have it.
Okay, okay, bring it over here. Bring it over
So
here.
talk for a second. I gotta
Okay,
grab it.
I'll keep him entertained. Spider-Man at
Answer some
Universal.
questions.
Okay, yeah. So Bob says Spider-Man at Universal Islands of Adventure was revolutionary, game-changing. I haven't been on it. I need to go check it out. Is it like because I know it's 3D in a way, but it's also dark ride and sort of simulator, if that makes sense. I don't know how Star Tours 3.0. Okay, yeah. I as a big Spider-Man fan, that's all next year. It's all next year. I am very very excited to go. I am sad they closed Poseidon's Fury before I got a chance to go though. I that show looks amazing. Poseidon's
Oh,
Fury.
it was amazing. Shoot.
I'm so sad about that. A Marvel version of Smuggler's Run, you think so? You think so, Disney Dad? It might be. It could be. I have no idea.
I
Screens
got
and
some. I
practical
can't.
effects.
Oh shoot, I can't find it.
Was
My.
it like a print, like a poster?
It was from D23. They gave a D23. They gave a poster. It showed King Thanos. You saw
Oh
the
yeah,
ride. You saw the ride vehicle. It's surrounded by like maybe 30 to 50 Marvel characters, and that what
yeah, from all around the
the
multiverse. Yeah,
from all around the multiverse. So I think the ride is going to be.
I don't know. I genuinely I had no idea what it could be.
Yeah, I well, the ride, the way it looked like to me, the car, it looked like almost like a like this. My first thought was like The Simpsons, like a giant screen. You have been oh so like giant screen,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you're seeing this maybe multiple cars, and I think they probably have different scenarios when you ride at different times. That's just speculation. I have
yeah.
no idea.
The only
So
thing
yeah,
that's keeping me because I'm seeing some people say like simulator or Smuggler's Run. They've gone on record to say that this is like the flagship attraction. This is like the e-ticket. So they are comparing this to Rise of the Resistance. They're comparing this to your big box rides, your Runaway Railways. Is it a Runaway Railway an e-ticket? I would say it is. I would say it's an e-ticket. Would you say
Runaway
D?
Railway. I love it. I love it. That was
Maybe
in. It
D.
was
Maybe
it was
D
mentioned
ticket.
on the. It was mentioned on the call today. By the way, is
Yeah,
that
as one of the
that
ones they built over the decade, right?
to combat against Universal Studios Epic
Yeah.
Universe. So I would love it if it's something like Rise with Marvel characters
Hmm.
and moving through. I love that. I think it'd be cool because I want all those characters to come alive and see them all. Somebody's saying they're saying it's going to be an FX coaster, like maybe like a Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's an e-ticket. That would count
that
for
would be
sure.
massive. I just don't where are they going to where figure out where they're going to be putting all of that in the Vegas
Right.
campus.
Yeah,
So
that's how big's the show building gonna be? Because e-ticket
yeah.
is so broad. Like you have your Pirates of the Caribbean is an e-ticket. That's a water boat ride. Rise of the Resistance, trackless dark ride. There's another e-ticket is just on my head. Um, but it could be Ratatouille. Ratatouille over at Epcot is considered an
Yeah.
e-ticket, and that's
Yes.
it could end up being like Ratatouille, where you're going through some physical sets and some screens. I have no idea at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. They actually in Disneyland Paris, they just did they had Ratatouille because you have to have the 3D glasses,
Hmm.
right? But for they did 3 weeks where they took off they just did it in 2D, no 3D glass. There they are, baby. Check that out. Look at that.
These are
It's
from the Cast Connection at Walt Disney World. These are obtained legally from, I think, PhilharMagic or Star Tours. I got my 3D glasses though. Can you see yourselves in the reflection? That's trippy. Oh, and we got some Midway Manias going on.
These were obtained legally too because I'm going to be doing a secrets revealed of Midway Mania, and
Okay.
they were given to me so that I could have this go over the lens of the camera to film it so it's not blurry.
Yeah, I did. That's what I do. I did that on like Flight of Passage. I got the glasses and like filmed through it. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that was awesome. I love
that was
that.
pretty cool.
I can't even remember what we were talking about. I just got so excited when I saw your
We were just
glasses.
comparing glasses. Yeah, this is.
I remember. I remember because at Disneyland Paris, they got rid of the 3D glasses for a month to try
Oh,
it. To
really?
say, yeah, we're gonna say we go without the ride, just make a 2D ride. But they ended up bringing the glasses back. But I actually, be honest with you, I kind of wish that I'm over the 3D stuff. I'm like, let's just have it. I don't need it. It's for me.
I
It
agree.
doesn't. I'm happy with the 2D stuff. I don't have to have that.
I'm okay with
So
that too. Yeah, because like another a good example of that would be like on Runaway Railway when you go down the waterfall. That's not 3D; it's 2D, and you can still sort of get that feeling if they made it even more immersive, say on Flight of Passage or like or Soren. Soren is in 3D. That's still
yeah,
awesome. You know, it doesn't
yeah,
have to be 3D. I mean, I got astigmatism too in my eyes, so everything's always blurry no matter what. If it's a 3D
dude.
ride, so it doesn't matter for me.
My favorite is in the Soarin' around the world when you're off to the side and the Eiffel Tower is like,
You're like, oh man, I love flying over the Eiffel Tower. This is
yes,
beautiful. I love Paris, France.
you're like, oh, that's exactly how it looks. I love
Yeah,
that.
wow. And then you
Yeah.
got the people's feet dangling in front of you. You got to go middle row top or middle section top row. That's the best. That's the best seat in the house.
Well, yeah, middle row, middle section, front row, because that takes you to the top, right?
I
Yeah,
think
front
that'd
row.
be B1. I think B1 is what you're looking for.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I actually like Soarin' a lot. It's still a good attraction. I love Soarin' over California. I think it's a better version than around the world, but I mean,
I like them
whatever.
both, but I do prefer Soarin' over
Oh yeah,
California.
Jimmy Good says
Absolutely.
it's section B, row one.
Section
There
B,
it
row
is.
one. That's where you got it. That's if you can be nice to the cast member when you're doing this. If they say no, it's fine. Don't get mad. But if you can, ask them for B1, and you get the best seat in the house.
Actually, I think Shakespeare said to be
Is it two? I don't know if it's
or
B1
not
or
to be.
2B or oh, you had me going for it. I forgot I'm in a live stream with Chris Provost here. I need to be on my guard.
Come on, that was too
I need to
easy.
be on my guard.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Oh, hey, Ohana just put in. Hi guys, Offhand Disney and PPP are e-ticket shows.
I
Oh,
appreciate you, Ohana. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm
so
gonna give that a
I
like.
actually was gonna. I just did an April Fool's video. I do one every year, and I was gonna be do one all about how you changed everything to your name's now Offhand Universal,
Hmm. Yep.
and
I
I was gonna go for it.
I did a little experiment on Twitter back when it was still Twitter 2 3 years ago of offhand Universal, and I was going to do a whole video about Universal, but then I just trip fell through, so I never ended up doing it. But maybe I will bring back offhand Universal when I
Bring
do
it
end up
back.
going back.
Bring it back. I want to go with you to Epic Universe. I want to go with you just to normal Universal Studios for your
Yeah,
first time. I mean, I
everyone's
know you're gonna get.
invited.
I mean, I know you want probably rather go with your wife, but I mean, I'd be
You can
lovely
tag
just to.
along.
I
Come
get
on,
I
man.
just started with it.
Everyone's invited. I love going with my friends.
So that's awesome. Okay, so I will also. What else do you think? There's gonna be some other big announcements for D23?
What have I mentioned? I mentioned Pandora. I mentioned
Yes.
the Avengers e-ticket. I feel like that might end up being it for Disneyland unless they go really crazy with Disneyland Forward. But I feel like that's where are going to want to start. I feel like Disneyland Forward is going to be in phases, and Pandora is going to be phase one for sure.
Yeah.
For Disney World, I have no idea where they could go. I mean, maybe something about what's going beyond Big Thunder Mountain. I've heard from reliable, I mean, other YouTubers and people who might be on the inside that Villains is the front runner right now, just full Villains because they're not doing Encanto. That's going in Animal Kingdom with Indiana Jones, and I don't know about Coco. I believe that's also rumored to be part of that sort of tropical America's Dino Land retheme. So
I
I'm hearing it's going to be Villains all the way through the mansion, and I feel like I hate to interrupt you because I saw you talking. One real quick,
That's
it's a
okay.
good thematic transition from Big Thunder Mountain to the Haunted Mansion to have it be Villains. Like that makes sense to me.
I think that Disney is they have to now do Villains Land.
Yeah.
I think there's no way around it because of Epic Universe doing they because they have the Dark Universe. You know, they got the
Right.
five lands. So the one is the Monster Land.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people are going to be so excited. The people have expressed so much interest for that. And now that Universal is doing it, I think Disney is going to be kind of they forced their hand. They have to do a Villains Land. So
I think the villains will end up happening. I think it'll definitely be less intense than Epic
yeah.
Universe's Villains Land, but it'll certainly be very, very similar, like in feel, I should say.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that all I want in Villains Land, I'll tell you what I want. Okay,
All
I
right.
just want Yzma and Kronk. I want to get on a roller coaster, and I want him to say "pull the lever," and then I want it to shoot backwards, and I want to hear "wrong lever."
Going through the lab, that'd be insane. I need to
Yes.
see. my favorite Disney character, almost maybe my favorite Disney villain, maybe character is Chernabog from Night at Bald Mountain. Big
Yeah, yeah.
guy on top of the mountain. He needs to be in that land, and I'll be happy. Or maybe even some sort of, I don't know, Chris. I don't know, a
Better than
way to. I
Hades?
mean,
Hades is so good.
I love Chernabog. Chernabog's great. He's got a great sound. He's got a great theme song. But what matters most is that there is a way to move people through this land, Chris. There is some sort of attraction that would move people
People.
through the villain's land. Some sort of
If
people.
it just we could find something that would move people, what would you
Right.
call that? It's
I
like
don't
a
know. Like a
person
person. Yeah. A
vehicle.
person a person conveyor, a human mobile, something. I don't know. I'm working on the name still,
Yeah,
but
I know.
something to move people.
It'll come to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
something's
I'll
gonna
think about
move
it.
people at a high velocity, like not high velocity, just nice and easy to meander around
Yeah,
the land.
aerial views of the land, some way to move the people throughout. I think that's what's most important.
Yeah. Mr. Robin Nass says soaring has two screens. Disney should offer both California and World and just let us pick sides. That's
Okay,
an interesting
okay.
thought. I, would everybody just go to California though?
Ooh, would
Oh, people.
everybody go to? I don't. I like. So here's the thing. My two favorite parks are Disneyland and Epcot. So I'm if they that makes it tough because I love Epcot. I love Disney World. I love even Animal Kingdom is so great. But then Disneyland. So I don't know. I don't know.
By the way, their idea was, how about people pacer?
People pacer. I like the word people. I think we should stick with that. I'm still going to workshop that a bit. People something. People
People something, guys.
blank.
Yeah,
Keep working on it.
yeah. Keep working on it.
People something. We'll get
We're
it.
almost there. You guys are just about to make some magic
I know
happen.
it's so close. We're so
I love it.
close. People.
What time does your video drop tomorrow so everybody knows when to watch it about Zootopia? When are
Probably
you gonna drop it?
about, if you're going on Disneyland time, probably about 9 or 10 a.m. Disney World time, I guess that would be what?
Okay, so we can say
Noon to
that.
1?
Oh, the other entity transporter.
Entity Transporter, Human
Oh,
Motivator. Yeah, it's good.
and Patterson for the win, because you know that people are going to say it wrong. People shifter.
I saw, I was, it had to do a double take on that one
Me too. I had to do. I was
because
like,
they turned the old Skyway stop in Tomorrowland at Disney World into the People Shifter. If you know that history, you know.
no, I don't know that. Tell me about the. Tell me about.
So okay, well, let's get started. So the Tangled, it's so funny to me. People talk about attractions being replaced with
Yeah,
inferior replacements. There used to be a Skyway at the Magic Kingdom opening day. I'm sure you know.
I do.
It went from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, just like at Disneyland.
It went
Oh,
from
People Mover. That's the
what's
name.
that?
People Mover. I just came
How
up with
about
that.
the people putt?
Yeah, no, the People
The
Mover is not
human
good. Do something
hurler.
else. No, People Mover. Human Relocator is better.
So
Forget I said anything.
if you go on to Autopia,
Yeah,
and there's that little Mad Hatter store,
yeah.
and there's the bathrooms back there. Back behind that, that was where you would get on the sky buckets, the
On
skyway.
Tomorrowland, yeah.
Tomorrowland. And you go through the Matterhorn,
Hmm.
and then you land. When you land, you can still see the steps to the station.
Yeah, the old
Excuse me.
Skyway Chalet. Yeah,
Yeah,
still there.
Skyway Chalet. It's right by the Red Rose Tavern, right across
Hmm.
the Casey Junior's train. They
Yep.
have like a little. Now they have like they're selling snacks there, and
Yeah,
behind that snacks is where the stairs were, so it would go from back and forth. I was just telling that because I think you were talking about that. So
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, no, you're talking about Disneyland's, which is absolutely true. There's still three steps that lead to nowhere at Disneyland's, but
Oh, were you talking
I'm
about
talking
something
about
different?
we're talking about Disney World's Skyway, Magic Kingdom
Oh,
Skyway. Yeah.
let me
So
wait. Let me get comfortable. I'm just gonna listen.
okay, everyone, grab yourself a nice little cup of tea. Everyone, grab a little blankie. I'm going to tell you a little story. When the Magic
Story.
Kingdom opened in 1971, there was a Skyway. It brought you from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, just like at Disneyland. The Fantasyland station was a sort of cottage. It was like you'd go under this triangular sort of facade, go into this cottage, you'd get on the Skyway and go to Tomorrowland, where you'd land on top of this beautiful, almost like hanging gardens building with a waterfall cascading down. And it was very like retro future. Tomorrowland on opening day in Disney World was very beautiful, very like retro future flowing water. But when the Skyway closed, they said, "What do we do with the old stations? The Fantasyland station we could turn into a bathroom." And so where the old Skyway station was at Disney World, you can find the Tangled restrooms by the Haunted Mansion and Small World.
Yes.
And then where the old Tomorrowland station was, is where you can find the Tomorrowland bathrooms by Space Mountain. So
Yeah.
they turned the Skyway stations into bathrooms. For some reason, they both ended up getting the bathroom treatment. People shifter.
People shifter. I see where we're getting to. That
They
was a
turned the
long
people.
way. That
They
was a
turned the
long
people
way to
shifter
get to.
into a people shifter.
That was a long way to get to people shifter.
I brought it full circle, and that's all that matters.
I don't want. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. Poop jokes are not my favorite, but they are a solid number two.
If the buildup is a 4-minute story about the history of Disney World, I think I can tell a poop joke every now and then, maybe.
That was amazing. Back to you brought it back to the people shifter.
Someone said people
By the way, though,
shover.
the Tangled bathroom is the best bathroom. It is awesome. Oh,
Now
you
you got me
disagree?
thinking, because I do love the Tangled bathroom.
It's
On
got
prop,
frying pans in it.
yeah.
It's
At
got
the
frying
Magic
pans
Kingdom, I
in it.
think I might agree.
Yeah.
On
I'm gonna
property,
say this. I'm gonna say this though about my son real quickly because we were at Universal
okay.
last week, and you don't know this. You wouldn't know this, and spoiler, somewhat
I
spoiler.
wouldn't.
But in the bathroom there at the Harry Potter world, when you go in, you can hear moaning Myrtle, and she talks to you right
Oh
as you're in
wow.
the bathroom.
Okay.
You can hear her talking. And for a 7-year-old to go in and then all of a sudden hear a female voice, he was very concerned. He's like looking around, like, "Where's that coming from?" I'm like, "No, it's moaning Myrtle." So yeah.
Don't worry about
Oh,
her.
people conveyance,
People
people
conveyance, people
transfer,
transfer. Meeple mover, that's all right.
people bow mover.
People bowel mover, that's what they
I
turned it
love
into. Doom
meeple
buggy,
mover.
I might be. I love how everyone is still committed to the bit. I appreciate it. Moving people. What else do we got?
There's a
People
bunch of them.
momentum. Shover, that's me on the way. A people shover, that's me on the way to get my mint julep when I get to Disneyland. I'm a people shover.
Do you feel that rush when you first get to Disneyland? You know, like this rope drop, and then like having you walk. Do you get that? Like I get that anxiety. Like I start wanting to just start running. But I mean, I know
I
you're not
because
supposed to.
because neither of us are locals, are we? We both live out of state, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
So
right.
we don't get the we every time I get to Disneyland, it's just that feeling where you're like, let's go right now.
Yeah,
I need to get there.
every
Yeah.
time. I've never lost it. The one thing that people ask me a lot about Pearls Park Pass, they're like, "Do you get tired of going to the parks? Do you get
Right.
tired of?" I don't really.
No.
I still feel that magic when I get to go. But I'll say this: the magic is different. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's like such a high excitement. There are other times it's a little bit sadness because there's people that I are no longer with us that can't go to the parks anymore for whatever reason. I get a little sad for that, but I always feel some type of emotion when I go into Disneyland every single time. So,
Oh yeah.
oh, how about the people remover?
People remove it takes people from one land and brings them to another. That's not bad. People remover. Or it just takes them out of the park. It's a one-way ticket. Then there's no return trip either. You have to get off when you exit the park, and you got to walk all the way back in. That might be good.
Yeah,
Might be a good crowd flow attraction.
I like
People
that. I
with
like
the
that a lot.
land. We haven't even talked about living with the land. That's my favorite ride at Disney World.
I love it. Oh wait, what are your top three attractions at Disneyland? Tell
My
us.
top 3 attractions at Disneyland.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna guess what
Guess
they
number
are.
1.
Well, I
Okay.
know what your number one is.
Okay. Yeah. Guess what they are.
Well, for you, I'm gonna say number one is Haunted Mansion.
Easily. Easily.
Yeah. Number two, though, I would say Pirates for you.
What's number 3? What's number 3, Chris?
I'm gonna put you at Space Mountain.
Space Mountain for 3. I would say Haunted Mansion is
Yeah.
probably my number 1, obviously. Number 2, I really like the Mark Twain Riverboat. I think the Mark
Oh,
Twain
yeah. Okay.
is
Okay.
or the railroad. There, no, Mark Twain. But I think Pirates would probably be number 3. So you're 2
Three.
for 3. You're 2 for 3.
Okay. Did not see the Mark Twain coming, but that's a really good
It's
attraction.
a sort of people mover if you think about it.
It really is. So,
I'm gonna guess you're 3 now. I'm gonna try
all right.
at Disneyland. Number
Yeah.
1 is Pirates. I think for you is your favorite. Number
Uh,
2, I'm gonna say Space Mountain.
okay.
Number 3, I have to say probably everyone knows it, everyone loves it. One of the most popular attractions at the park. Great moments with Mr. Lincoln. I'm 3 for 3. I got them all. What are your
Wow.
top 3?
All right. Haunted Mansion.
It's hard to
Okay.
think. It's hard because you're like, what is your top 3? I'm like, ooh, what are my top 3?
Well, the thing is, I swear, my mind kind of changes a lot. Mine, it was Splash Mountain, but it's been removed. I'm sure that when China's Bayou Adventure opens up, that'll probably insert itself in top three.
Mm.
But for right now, it's for me, it's Haunted Mansion, Pirates, and Canoes.
Okay.
I'm
Oh
a
yeah, everyone's saying canoes. It's been
yeah,
a while since I've
Canoes.
been. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the canoes. Not because I haven't wanted to go on the canoes, because they're always closed when I'm there. They're always
I
closed
love
when
the
I'm
canoe.
there.
I love the canoes. I love the canoe staff. I love everything about canoes. And I do. And the people are saying about Autopia. I'm an Autopia defender to the.
I
I love it.
I used to be an Autopia. I used to say, take Autopia out, get it out of here. I hate the Autopia. I am an Autopia defender with you to the death now, Chris. I
Yes.
love the
Okay.
Autopia. Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Perfect. Well, you know what? I promise you an hour. We're almost at the end. Just real quickly, I'm going to do a quick little recap, and then I'll let you chime in, and we'll talk a little about your channel. So here's what happened today. They had the stockholders share meeting. In the stockholders share meeting, Nelson Peltz, who was running to get seats on board, he did not get enough votes. Disney has made no announcement for having their seats change at all. They're probably not going to change, so that didn't change. What was interesting about that though is Disney stocks did drop where the S&P went up. So we had it was called a negative beta. That's a
Right.
very weird thing that happened. Disney then had their Q&A was interesting because they were pre-submitted. They said their pre-submitted questions, then they were read by like an automatic voice, an
Yeah.
AI voice,
Hmm.
but they didn't say where the person was from or didn't even give a name. So it was weird to me. It was almost like maybe Disney just said, "Hey, everybody submitted their questions, but these are the ones we're going to answer," and they answer
Right.
those questions.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of a little bit lackluster,
It,
but
it's
I
it's a
think
little insincere, I think would be a good word for it.
thank you so much. And then we're going to be hopefully having some announcements coming at D23.
Mhm.
Dallin is all in for it. He believes that D23 is going to knock our socks off.
I'm hoping. I don't know if I'm convinced that it will, but I'm hoping that it will. You know, maybe I like to go in with high hopes. I like to have a good time. And even last year, the Parks panel last year, where it was widely considered to be a disappointment, I would say it was probably a disappointment. I still had a good time, at least talking with the people who were next to me and getting those free treats. Chris, were you in
Yeah,
there?
yeah, I was there.
Yeah. So
I regret. I have a regret though, because they had at the same time they had the Muppet, like the 40th anniversary Muppet panel and the Parks panel. And I'm a diehard Muppet fan, but I was like, I got to go to the Parks panel. I got to get to the Parks panel. I want to hear. I should have. I should have just gone to the Muppet panel. Oh,
I agree. There was a Muppets Christmas Carol panel and that Muppets panel, and I missed both of them because I was at the Disney Legends ceremony,
yes,
which was concurrent with the Christmas Carol one, and I was at the Parks panel, which was concurrent, I should say, with the
yeah.
40th anniversary one.
So, so yeah, but I mean, the D23 is still a fun time with be there with your friends. But yeah, Kermit, I loved. By the way, this is crazy. You ready for this?
Right.
Like 2 weekends ago, I met a bunch of the puppeteers who did the Christmas, the Christmas Mary's Christmas party.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Merriest Nights.
Mary's Nights. They were the
Yeah,
puppeteers, and like I got to meet the one that did Pepe, and I was like I literally was like fanboying so hard,
yeah.
and they're like get a grip, Chris. I'm like I can't help it.
I feel like I might have to drag someone to a Muppets panel this year. I can't miss it. I love the Muppets so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. And then tell us tomorrow. Everybody, tell them about your channel, where they can find you on all your socials, and your video coming out tomorrow.
Uh, tomorrow I'm gonna Tomorrow I'm gonna be uploading my sort of recap of the news that was over this past week. I'm Offhand Disney, obviously. My YouTube channel's Offhand Disney, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Offhand Disney, and all of those places. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Electric Autopia, about Pandora, and that sort of overlay I was talking about earlier. How you can kind of see it lined up with Disneyland Forward at Disneyland. And I'm thinking we're getting closer to a Tiana's opening date with that poster coming out. If you want Disney history, fun facts, in the park videos, trivia, news, rumors, I got it all. And I got a bunch of other multiversal variants of me
Yeah.
waiting to help me out with that. So, Offhand Disney, if you're interested.
Offhand Disney. I have to say this. So this is what Dallin amuses me. Like I'm amused by him. So I come across. I'm a little more goofy. I do the puns. Nobody on YouTube I know does a better deadpan
I
than
get that a lot. I get
Oh,
that I'm very deadpan a lot, and I appreciate it. I'll keep
it's
it
so
going.
good. It's just so good when you do those when you do those like things like, did you know this? And then you stop and you
And then
you want
that's it. That's the end. Yeah.
yeah, that's the end of it. I love it.
Oh,
I absolutely love it. So
and I want to thank everybody down there in the chat for watching. I see all you guys talking down there. Thank you for letting me come onto your channel, Chris, and just talk
yeah,
Disney with me for an hour. I appreciate it so much.
always, my
You're
friend.
awesome.
So you guys are the best. Check out Offhand Disney. Don, I wish you the best. I'll be watching your videos tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming here and jumping in and talking with all of us. You guys are the best. Have
Absolutely.
a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you guys all later.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye bye. Now I don't know how to turn off a dual thing.
We'll figure it
Literally,
out. I'm gonna head out. I'll see you. I'll see you at D23. Goodbye,
see
everybody.
you. He's heading out, and I don't know how to head out. So maybe you'll be stuck with me here. Oh, there we go. He's gone. All right, guys. I'm going to try to figure to turn this out. I think I hit this button. It'll turn it off. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.